Afternoon everyone, this is just a quick update video on the Engineer's Breadboard kit. So the one you see before you is probably one you've seen before or similar to it. If you recall, it had the bamboo backer and the power supply across the top. This is probably a different version. There have been a few prototypes along the way, as you can tell. Each one refined just a little bit more than the previous one. So there's been some changes. I'm going to show you the latest version today, try and catch you up to speed. If you recall the case, go ahead and open this up. So one of the probably more obvious changes is the fact that I've switched from using a standard lithium-ion cell, lithium polymer actually, to a 18650 cell with the socket, just to make it easy to switch it out for fresh batteries or for you to upgrade if you need more capacity. Another change is the use of the space where the module is, the third, or where it used to be anyways. This may change. I may move away from using the navigation, go to standard buttons, and actually keep everything across the top and make room for the actual dev module again. Let's pull this out of the box. So if you recall, it is actually held down with magnets, as you can hear there. As we lift that out, this comes out to reveal storage. Yeah, we're just going to set that aside for a moment. Throw a 18650 cell in here, power it up, and we'll just crank up the current and the voltage a bit. This is not the final firmware, so I won't bother describing that for you. Alright, so you'll notice some flicker of the display on the camera. That is actually only in the camera, not in person. This has to do with the refresh rate. Yes, it helps if I have this in the right slot. We have our green channel, red channel, and blue channel. Just for a quick demo. The supply is capable of 0 to 5 volts and 0 to 1 amp. So if you notice, I'm now using a aluminum backer plate. Two reasons. First is it's more rigid. The bamboo has a nice feel to it, but it's not as sturdy. And also it's not very good for thermal conductivity, whereas this is. So basically I went back to my original design of using the backer plate as the heatsink as well. That's just a quick update. This version is fully functional. I'm just making a few changes to the layout, and as I said, I might go ahead and change away from the navigation switch and other pieces just to bring it up closer and make room for the third module. So as I move forward with that, I'm also taking suggestions. So if you have any good suggestions for me, please let me know. You can either email me or leave it in the comments for the video. So I wanted to talk about the case for a minute. Now personally, I love the case. This is a basically heirloom quality bamboo case. It's made from laser cut 2.7 millimeter. This one is in the amber color. And this one has been lightly sanded with 2 coats of poly, as I do with all my bamboo projects. Has a nice feel to it. It's also nice and sturdy. Has storage underneath. And the intention was that this would come as a kit where you glue this together yourself. Finish cutting out the pieces while we're breaking them away, much like the rocket kit, and lightly sanding it, finishing it, and gluing it together. A nice project. The question is, How many people out there actually have interest in doing that? I'm finding the numbers are lower than I expected, so I am considering on moving away from bamboo in general and just going to a rigid plastic case. So I'd love to hear your comments about this. Working on one other little project that's related to the engineer's breadboard kit, specifically the power supply section of it. Took the power supply from the kit and created a new form factor. This is the main PCB, the test one for it. This is not the final, this is actually just the first revision, so it will change. And the idea here is the front panels actually break off, and you have 3 boards. The main board with all the circuitry, smaller panel with the OLED display, and a panel with the controls. These can be mounted separately or together, and actually the display board sits just on top and mounts through, as you can kind of see there. So when assembled, gives you something like this guy here. Now the fan is on this one. That will actually not be in the production units. It's really not required for up to an amp or 1 amp with the heatsink, which I may increase in size a bit. I probably will leave the fan connection on the back, one of the two, just in case you want to put it into a case. You can use a fan on the case, and that'll be mapped to the thermal temperature of the junction as well. This one is actually a little larger than it's going to be in the end product. Had this case in mind, and I've actually chosen a different case which is a little bit thinner but the same length. I'm going to try that one. I won't go into too many details since that's not a sure thing yet either. You'll notice the leads down here. That's just to make it easier to break out the power while I have the board in place. Everything's connected, so I don't have to do the jumpers. Just makes it easier for prototyping. Obviously you'd use the banana jacks for powering your circuit after the fact. And the idea is the board, simply get it inserted into the case. Front panel would mount together in this case, and that would mount to the back of a front panel. This would be up higher, and of course the banana jacks would be down below. This one also runs off a 18650 cell, as you can tell. And we'll just fire this up real quick. Alright, so let's see if I can get a close-up of the display here. Sorry about the flickering. If you do notice, it has the temperature of the junction, the battery status, and your set voltage, set current, voltage out, and current out. This is, once again, is just the Rev A of the board, and is more of a proof of concept than an actual design. It is based on the same circuitry with a few modifications, which is also why it has the same current and voltage rating. And I may offer this one on the same kit starter as I offer the engineer's breadboard kit, just as a secondary. So if you have any feedback on this design, please let me know.